Hello fans, collectors, investors, welcome back to Iconic Baseball. Iconic Al here, and we're back with another countdown video. This is my list of the 100 greatest and most iconic ball players in baseball history, of which I have been presenting from 100 up to number 1 over the past year and a half or so. If you would like to get caught up on my previous countdown videos, please check out the playlist feature of my YouTube page, and you can watch basically from number 100 to where we are today, which is number 42. This was the first true superstar of the young game of baseball. Believe it or not, there was a time before Babe Ruth, and even Ty Cobb. This was the player of the 1800s. We're talking about a guy who hit .334 for a career, amassed 94.3 WAR, and was the first member of the 3,000 hit club. This is a guy who led his team to 6 league pennants and was far and away the greatest of his era. I'm talking about the great Cap Anson.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
I've decided to bring in a few ringers. Professional baseballers. We'll give them token jobs at the plant and have them play on our softball team. Honus Wagner, Cap Anson, Mordecai Three-Finger Brown.
Sir?
What is it, Smithers?
I'm afraid all those players have retired and passed on. In fact, your right fielder has been dead for 130 years.
Damnation!
Adrian Cap Anson was born in 1852 in Marshalltown, Iowa. By the age of 19, he had developed into a fantastic ball player and was already playing professional ball in the National Association. He was a large and imposing man for his time, standing over 6 feet tall and weighing 220 pounds. He played the majority of his career for the Chicago White Stockings and had a career that lasted from 1871 through 1897. He led the White Stockings to 6 league pennants in the 1880s and emerged from his era as the predominant superstar. He compiled 94.3 WAR over his career, a career in which he hit .334, amassed 3,435 hits, becoming the first member of the 3,000 hit club. He won 4 batting titles and compiled 2,075 RBIs. He scored 1,999 runs and really was the first GOAT of his sport. Beyond his .334 batting average, he had a .394 career on-base percentage, and if you look at modern metrics for Cap Anson, he looks even better. He had an .841 career OPS and a .142 career OPS plus. He played in 2 world championships in his career, hitting a combined .340. He actually was involved in a tie in the 1885 World Series. Don't ask me how that happened, but that was between the White Stockings and the St. Louis Browns. And although it's not one of the most pleasant things to address in a video like this, I feel like it's part of the story with Mr. Anson. He played a major role in establishing the racial segregation in professional baseball that persisted until the late 1940s. On several occasions, Anson refused to take the field when the opposing roster included black players. So each collector, myself included, needs to weigh factors like this when they decide if or how Cap Anson should be included in their collection. I choose to honor each player's on-field accomplishments and their iconic status while accepting and acknowledging character flaws and interpreting that through cultural norms of their time. So it is what it is with Mr. Anson. You sort of have to take the good and the bad and decide whether that's someone you want to collect or not. What does the collecting market look like for Cap Anson? Well, like Kid Nichols, another player in my countdown who played in the 1800s, it is very difficult to acquire a signature or a playing days card of Cap Anson. Signatures generally run in the 5 figures. In fact, I recently saw a listing that I think is still on eBay, and it was for a slabbed cut signature for Mr. Anson, the asking price being nearly $6,000. And so that gives you some idea of even a cut signature for a guy like Anson is extremely expensive, and most signatures for Anson are even higher. As far as the Playing Days cards, some of the most prominent ones I'll show here. If you look at the upper right, you have the 1888 N162 Goodwin Champions Cap Anson, which, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful cards of any era. Just the color, the portrait, it's got it all. And so, obviously, that's a grail card for many collectors. I am not going to be picky. I do want to acquire a Playing Days Cap Anson one of these days. Most likely, it'll be graded authentic. It may be partially ripped in half, but the one I get, I just want something to represent Cap Anson's Playing Days in my collection. The two cards that I have right now are just reprints and are just there as sort of placeholders in my collection, just to remind me of, something that I want to acquire someday. Back to these other cards. In the upper left, you have an 1887 N28 Allen and Ginter, another very iconic pose of Cap Anson holding a bat. Lower left, you have the 1895 N300 Mayo's Cut Plug, another amazing set from the 1800s that I really like. And then in the lower right, you have the 1888 Old Judge, another great set from the 1800s. The two cards that I have displayed here are just two reprints that I really like to have just to kind of hold a place in my collection. This is the 1895 Mayo Cut Plug reprint. This is a 1986 reprint. But just a nice image of Cap Anson. Portrait image from the tobacco era. And then we have this image, which is from an 1888 Old Judge, N173, listing him as Captain Anson, Chicago. A very formal image of Anson. This is sort of an aged reprint, so it looks kind of old, but it has the look of an older card, but it is not. This comes from a larger, I think it's a cabinet panel from the 1888 era of Old Judge cigarettes. But I just like the image. It's from another era. Most authentic Playing Days cards of Cap Anson start in the four figures and go well up into the five figures. So these are aspirational sort of grail type cards for most collectors. I'm in no hurry. I'll take my time, and when I get the right opportunity, I'll be ready. Well, everyone, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep collecting and stay iconic.